Hello there guys, welcome to this week's mini-make, and in this week's mini-make we are making Minecraft coasters out of Perler or Hama beads. So for this project you're going to need the Minecraft coaster pixel art, which is in the description below the video. Download that, print it in colour, and then we can get started. Now I'm going to show you how to make the creeper coaster. To make the creeper coaster you are going to need dark green Hama beads, light green Hama beads, black Hama beads for the eyes and the mouth, and you can either choose white or for this project I'm going to use grey Hama beads as it seems to work better with the colours. So with the materials out of the way, you're also going to need a pegboard and an iron, and that's it. So let's get started. Okay, when you're doing a piece of pixel art, creating coasters using Hama beads, one thing I'll suggest is for every single square in the design, use 4 Hama beads. So for example, if we're using the dark green Hama beads, I'm starting at the top of the design. For that top right square, use 4 Hama beads to make that single pixel. Now next to that, add your next pixel. This is where having your Hama beads organised into pots is really helpful. First time I did this took a lot longer because of having to sort out beads individually. So if you can buy them in bags, it's definitely worth doing. You can buy own brand versions of Hama or Perler beads from eBay. They're actually nearly as cheap getting them online as they are getting them in store. So what I'm doing is I'm gradually building up one little square at a time. Make sure I do a little 2x2 square of beads for each square. So here we've got that little dark green, almost like a plus sign at the top here. If you ever played Tetris, it looks very similar to that. Now I'd suggest you work your way along in rows. It'll help you keep track of where your colours are. So I've got 3 dark greens. Next one up is a grey. On the design in the description it's a white, but you can get away with using grey. I think it works a little bit better with the creeper's colours with the standard Perler beads. Now as you're going along, one thing you can do if you go online is if you go on eBay, there are actually a much bigger range of colours. And one thing I found with the creeper, if you've played much Minecraft, is the creeper's colours have a lot more different shades of green and greys and whites. So you might be able to create some really nice effects by looking carefully at a screenshot of a creeper and collecting those colours together. Now I've put these together because they are easier to do with beads you can just go into Hobbycraft and buy off the shelf. Now you see it here, I'm just branching out from doing my rows here, and I'm just building up a little shape of solid colour. You've got a nice line of it. It can be a helpful way of working out where your next sets of beads are going to go. One thing to be careful of is if you do put a bead on there by accident, and it's in the wrong place, which does happen, I've done that a lot, best way to do is to pinch 2 nails together, over the top, pinch and lift. If you gradually work your way in and upwards, it'll be a lot easier to take them off the sides. If you try and take one off in the middle, you can often displace all the beads around, which can be a real pain to put back in. So, we'll speed up the video and I'll just show you putting together other bits and pieces. Okay, so take your baking parchment, you want to spread it over so you get a piece that's roughly a centimetre wider on either side. Always good to have a bit of overlap. Or in this case a lot of overlap. So once you've done that, it doesn't matter what side you do it, you're going to need to take an iron, and on hot you want it on full heat, but you want no steam. And then we're going to very gently massage the top of the beads until the tops of the beads appear to be darkened, which means the tops are starting to melt together and the beads should have fused. Okay, so take your iron, set it to maximum heat and 0 steam, and what you want to do is to move it into gently move it over the sides like this in a nice zigzaggy pattern. Or alternatively, if you've got a nice wide iron, you can make it just one big sweeping pattern. You're looking to have it so the beads look from being nice and transparent like this to looking slightly more melted like this. You should be able to see them through as if they're covered in water. So, I'm going to gently iron it in little circles. Don't press down too hard because this can cause the beads to form. And when you start to see the beads coming through, just like you can see here, be gentle in your movements. And then only after about 15-20 seconds, ease off the iron a little bit. And then have a look. If you can see that the beads are starting to flatten out a little bit, that shows that they're melted. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. You can do multiple settings. As you can see, it's starting to peel away now, which is a good sign that very gently peel it off. It's starting to melt together very nicely. Now I'm going to do a second heating. This edge here is fused together very nicely. The central bit you might well find holds its heat better, so you need to apply a second set. So now it's cooled down a bit, I'm going to bring my iron back again. I'm just going to focus mainly on that central bit. Again, very light. What you're looking for is very light ironing. Don't push down too hard. I'll explain about that in a little bit. Then just allow it to cool down. You can blow on it if you want to. It does cool it down a little bit more quickly. As you can just hear and see, the paper's popping away here. It's releasing itself. You don't need to do any hard work at all. Do be gentle with it. Remember, the beads are still fusing together. They're still a little bit hot. So you gently peel off your paper. And there you have it, your completed creeper coaster. Now, one thing you might notice is that it's starting to pull away at the edges a little bit, which might make it a little bit curled. One thing you can do is just sandwich it between two hardback books, let it cool off about 10 minutes, and then you should be ready to pop it out of its mould. Once popped out of its moulds, over he goes, and there is your completed creeper coaster. There's my original one. Here's your slightly different one. As you can see, nice variation in the white and the grey there. And if you look on the back, actually this one has got a much cleaner finish. If you look on the edges here, this one was slightly over ironed, but this one's looking a lot smoother. You can now put your mug on that. If you want to go back and iron it another couple of times, I'd give it about 5-10 minutes between ironings, and then you can go back again, use the same piece of baking parchment over again. If you do want to re-iron it, just get your pegboard back, line up your creeper on top, and then you can iron away. Good thing about doing this is the pegboard doesn't heat up. If the pegboard does heat up, you'll end up with this problem. Unhappy pegboard. Nice big hole in the middle, and as you can see from side on, the pegboard is warped. This is caused by pressing down the iron too hard. I was a little bit too enthusiastic the first time, and unfortunately my poor old Space Invader ended up getting a little bit melted in the middle there, and from back he looks absolutely horrible. But a nice piece of pixel art you can do using Hama beads. Well, there you go, guys. Thanks very much for joining me in this video. In this video we've been looking at making Minecraft coasters using Hama or Perler Beads. If you did like the video, then do like and subscribe to it. Subscribe to the channel. There'll be more Minecraft features coming out later this month. Our next project is going to be a pop-up creeper. I'll be doing some paper craft with cards, and you'll be able to pose him yourself. Thanks very much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.